Unless you're from Leixlip or pass through there regularly, you may never have come across the wonderful barn. This unique corkscrew-shaped structure has its staircase built on the exterior of the building. There are 4 floors within this building that are accessible from the outer staircase. The wonderful barn is tucked away in the far end of Leixlip, as we call it, because it is considered to be the far side of Leixlip, towards Celbridge and Maynooth. It's near the M4, and when I was a teenager, it was about a field away from a housing estate, and it was somewhat accessible to the public. To know more about the barn and how it came to be, we have to look at Castletown House, which is just a stone's throw from the wonderful barn. Castletown House is the first Palladian house built in Ireland by William Speaker Connolly. Connolly was the Speaker of the Irish Parliament from 1715 until his death in 1729. And up until his death, he was the wealthiest man in Ireland. Catherine Cunningham married Connolly in the late 1600s, and they lived between Capel Street in Dublin and Castletown House in Celbridge. They didn't have any children, so when he died, Catherine inherited all of his wealth. Catherine, who's now a landowner, political hostess and philanthropist, was held in high regard for her political advice. She commissioned the wonderful barn as an employment project during a famine for local farmers, and it was built in 1743. Technically, it was a famine folly, which normally had no practical use, but it's widely accepted that the wonderful barn was used to store grain, though there are other theories that it was used for sport shooting. When I was a teenager, the very top level of the barn was rumoured to have been a place of execution where people were hanged. A house was built beside the wonderful barn, but has been fire damaged for some time. The site itself is walled and under surveillance for the safety of the public. But despite this, that hasn't stopped people from climbing over the walls to get into the wonderful barn. The wonderful barn wasn't the only folly that Catherine Connolly commissioned. In 1741, she commissioned that Connolly's Folly be built, or what's also known as the obelisk. The folly is built between Celbridge and Maynooth and is very difficult to find without a map. As for Castletown House, it's still standing and it's probably in the best shape it's been in since it was first built. It was purchased by the OPW and significant renovation works were done on Castletown House. It's a fantastic place to go and walk around the grounds, but also to take the tour, which is managed by the OPW, or to grab a coffee and some lunch. It's a really fantastic amenity for the local people of Celbridge, Leixlip and Maynooth. The wonderful barn is now surrounded by a newly built housing estate, which opens up access to the public. However, you still cannot enter into the wonderful barn or the house. It's hoped that in the future, the wonderful barn and the house will be refurbished and open to the public, and the history and story of this place will be shared widely across the county and country.